Lesson 30, Part 3, we're talking about the optimum shoulder turn in the backswing. Now, there is an optimum biomechanical shoulder coil, and when I tell people that, particularly teachers, they throw their arms up and say, "You can't say that, Luther. There's more than one way to swing the golf club." Now, I absolutely agree with that. Just because I'm stating an optimum doesn't mean there isn't variety. My optimum shoulder turn is unique to my physique and will be affected by the length of the club that I'm using. So the optimum biomechanical swing plane or the optimum biomechanical shoulder turn is a key principle. It applies to everybody, but amazingly, the way it's applied by everybody is unique to that person and is unique to the club that they're using, and again is unique to the shot they're trying to hit. In addition to the swing theory they've got in their heads, that's another factor. So there are loads of differing factors, but the fact of the matter is there is an optimum shoulder turn. But when you've got 13 long clubs in the bag of different lengths, here is the driver, here is my 6-iron, and there is my sand iron. You can see that I'm going to be standing different distances from the ball, and I'm going to have my spine in different angles. So let me start off with the sand iron. The sand iron is the shortest of those 3 clubs. So here is my sand iron posture. I offer the club, I tip from the hip, my shoulders, and there is my best sand iron posture. Now that means that when I swing, I will swing on an upright plane. I will swing here. Okay? So I'm going to again turn my shoulder under my throat. Now, if we draw a line from the butt of the club to the ball, that is my optimum wedge swing plane. It's the steepest one in the bag. So now, let's go to the 6-iron. 13 long clubs in the bag, the 6-iron is normally the one in the middle, and that's why I tend to favour it for most of my lessons, because it's in the middle of the bag. So here we go. 6-iron, build the grip, I'm further back from the ball. I'm now going to make my optimum shoulder coil. You will see that's a flatter plane and slightly longer. The more upright my spine, the further I can swing back. So there we have it. Here's the optimum 6-iron shoulder turn. A little flatter than with the wedge. Okay. So now I go to the driver, the longest club in the bag. 44 inches long in this case. I'm a long way from the ball. Again, I turn my left shoulder to my throat. If we'll draw a line from the butt of the club to the ball, you'll see that I'm in a flatter swing plane. So watch that again. Shoulder to the throat. In plane. My 6-iron was up here, my wedge is up there. There's actually about 12 degrees of difference between your best swing plane for a wedge and your best swing plane for a driver. So I'm going to use the Explanar to illustrate how much the swing plane changes from sand iron through to driver. So here's my sand iron posture. I take my grip, take my stance. Now my shoulder turn is going to be here, as I showed you earlier. But what I need is Explanar to be set at that angle. Well, it's a very simple thing. All I have to do is take my stance and check the Explanar runs through my upper sternum. So here we go. Needs to go a little bit steeper still. Gives you an idea how dramatic the swing plane is. So there's the swing plane for my sand iron, a full sand iron swing. So, sand iron posture. Up I go. Again, we don't use a proper golf club with Explanar, we use the power roller. But I'm just showing you that the swing plane I showed you earlier down the line is now reflected by the angle of Explanar. Now, we don't use a proper golf club, we use the weighted power roller. So we go right down the handle, up we go. So now we can practice the power roller, we can practice a full swing. And what the upright swing plane tends to do is make the backswing shorter, it tends to be more wristy and less rolly. So everything about the sand iron encourages accuracy. It's an upright swing plane, up, through and up. So now I'm going to move to a 6 iron. And you can see I've moved further back in Explanar, but now my swing plane is quite a lot lower than Explanar. So now I just drop it down, just a few degrees, and all of a sudden it's making sense. My 6 iron swing is now flatter than my wedge swing and a bit longer. So here we go with the 6 iron. So that's a broad demonstration of the swing plane with the 6. That becomes reality now when I use the power roller. So I go to sort of 6 iron length on the handle. And you can see that indeed the swing plane is correct. Now I can build a swing. The swing plane is 6 to 7 degrees flatter than it was with the sand iron a minute ago. Swing's got longer, there's a bit more form rotation, there's a bit more power in the shot as a result. So finally we go to the driver. Okay, now again, I'm holding the driver correctly. You can see that the swing plane from the 6 iron is too flat. I've got to flatten it again. So, there's the driver swing plane. The swing plane runs from the ball through the upper sternum to the plane fin. So here's the driver swing. It's a longer, flatter swing. That becomes dynamic movement when I use the power roller. In fact, I think I could flatten it just a little bit more. There we go. So my feet have come back. A minute ago with the wedge, my feet were here. Look how different the swing is. Now I've moved back to driver. You can see the difference. Here we go. So we build the swing up. So there we have it. The Explanar teaches you your optimum biomechanical shoulder turn. But that shoulder turn is unique to your physique and varies with the club that you're using. And that's the reason Explanar works, because it understands the swing plane, but we can adjust the swing plane to suit your physique and the club you're using and the shot you want to hit.